Jungkook stood in his living room, a dark cloud of intensity hovering around him as he spoke to Chan, his trusted right-hand man. His sharp jawline clenched as he exhaled a puff of smoke from his. Chan, Jungkook said coldly, his deep voice slicing through the tension. I don't care what you have to do. By tomorrow, you better find Peter. He's responsible for burning down my godown. I lost too many men, and the damage he's caused will not go unanswered. Chan nodded firmly. Understood, boss. I'll have him by tomorrow. Before Jungkook could continue, the housemaid Shane appeared at the bottom of the staircase. She stood there silently, her head slightly bowed, waiting for permission to speak. Jungkook noticed her and gestured with a flick of his fingers, signaling her to proceed. Sir, Shane began hesitantly. She says she is not ready to wear it. She doesn't want to come with you. Jungkook's eyes darkened, and he crushed his cigarettes into the ashtray that John quickly held out for him. His lips pressed into a thin line, but he nodded, dismissing Shane with a wave of his hand. Upstairs in the bedroom, you stood in front of the mirror, your emotions tangled in a storm of fear and sorrow. Your fingers trailed over the smooth, flawless skin on the right side of your face, and a small smile escaped your lips as your right eye reflected happiness for a fleeting second. But the moment you shifted to look at the left side, your heart sank. Your fingers hesitated as they grazed over the scarred, burnt skin that stretched unevenly. Tears welled up in your left eye and slid down your cheek. The memories of that fateful day replayed vividly in your mind. You had risked your life to save someone you loved wholeheartedly, and now you are left with this mark, a constant reminder of the pain you endured. How can I show this face to the world? You whispered to yourself, your voice trembling. What if they are scared of me? What if they mock me? How can anyone ever like me like this? Just then a deep voice broke through your spiraling thoughts. I'm here to love you and however you are. Startled, you looked up to see Jungkook's reflection in the mirror. His dark eyes softened as he locked onto yours. Jungkook, you whispered, your voice shaky. He stepped closer, his movements deliberate and calm. His strong hands gently turned you away from the mirror to face him directly. He wiped the tears from your cheek with his thumb, his touch warm and tender. When he began, his voice low but filled with emotion. Why are you hurting me with these tears? You know I hate seeing you cry. You nodded like a child caught misbehaving, your lips trembling. I heard you don't want to wear this pretty dress, Jungkook said, holding up the peach-colored skirt embroidered with shimmering diamonds. The fabric sparkled softly under the light, radiating elegance. You glanced at the dress but shook your head. I don't want to attend the party, Jungkook. Why not? He asked, his brows furrowing in concern. You lowered your gaze, unable to meet his eyes. I'm scared of what people will think about me. What if they laugh or say something hurtful? I can't go out like this. Jungkook's jaw tightened and his eyes darkened with protectiveness. No one dares to say anything about you, he said firmly, and if anyone does, I will cut their tongue. Jungkook, you exclaimed, your voice filled with shock and emotion. As a doctor, the very thought of harming someone went against everything you believed in. Seeing your reaction, Jungkook softened. He placed his hands on your shoulders, grounding you. Okay, he said, a small sigh escaping his lips. I'm sorry, I won't hurt anyone. But you need to understand why. You can't keep hiding like this. If they can't accept you for who you are, that's their problem, not yours. You wanted to believe him, but doubt still lingered in your heart. Jungkook, but he silenced you by placing his index finger gently on your lips. No buts, he said, his voice firm but gentle. You're coming to the party and that's final. I'll be with you the whole time. No one will dare to say a word. You stared at him, his unwearing confidence slowly chipping away at your fears. Deep down, you trusted him. You knew he would do anything to protect you. Reluctantly, you nodded. Good girl, Jungkook said with a small smile, handing you the dress. Now go change. You look stunning in this. Taking the dress, you went to the changing room. As you slipped into the elegant skirt, you couldn't help but feel a mix of emotions. The fabric hugged your figure perfectly, its peach hue complementing your complexion. He took a deep breath and stepped out of the room. Jungkook's eyes lit up the moment he saw you. He took a step back to admire you fully, his lips curling into a proud smile. See, he said, his voice was filled with awe. Your cheeks warmed under his gaze, and for the first time in a long while, you felt a flicker of confidence. Jungkook reached out and gently took your hand. He walked toward you holding a small bottle. Now sit down, he instructed gently, pulling out a chair for you. Let me take care of everything. You complied, sitting down while he kneeled in front of you. He opened the bottle of Cetaphil moisturizer and applied it carefully to your face. His touch, so tender it almost brought tears to your eyes. This will keep your skin hydrated, he murmured, focusing on his task. Next, he reached for the Eclipse sunscreen. We can't have the sun bothering your beautiful skin, he said with a soft chuckle, applying it evenly. His concentration was intense. His brows slightly furrowed as if this was the most important mission of his life. When he picked up the foundation, he paused to look at you. I'm not very good at this, he admitted, smiling sheepishly, but I want you to feel confident tonight. You shook your head, smiling warmly. You're doing great, Jungkook. After applying the foundation and blending it perfectly, he moved on to your hair. He gently combed through it, his fingers brushing against your scalp, making you feel relaxed. You have such a beautiful hair, he complimented, his voice soft. Once he was done, he picked up a simple diamond necklace and carefully fastened it around your neck. Perfect, he said, stepping back to admire his work. He then took out a Titan Raga Moments of Joy analog watch and slid it onto your wrist. It looks beautiful on your hand, Ryan. You looked at the watch and smiled. Jungkook, you know, I love simple things. This watch is so beautiful and pretty. I love the design. It's elegant and timeless. You have great taste. You ran fingers over the watch face, feeling genuinely touched. Jungkook grinned. Yeah, I like this watch too. It's classy and it fits you perfectly. You both shared a smile that must be filled with warmth and love. Finally, Jungkook stood and said, just give me 5 minutes. I'll get ready and come back. You nodded, watching as he quickly disappeared into the closet within minutes. He emerged wearing a sharp black suit, his hair styled perfectly. He looked breathtakingly handsome. Let's go, he said, extending his hand towards you. Wait a second, you replied, walking to the drawer. Euritrata, Casio Adifisi EFR 5390, 1 AVU. Your watch, the one you have gifted him on your first anniversary. You forget this. Jungkook looked at the watch, his expression softening. I'm sorry, how could I forget my favorite watch? It's really classic and stylish. This design is so versatile, it's perfectly for any occasion. I absolutely love it. He smiled at his words, feeling a sense of pride and joy. Together you walked downstairs where the maids were waiting. They looked at you both and couldn't hide their admiration. Please check out the products that are tagged in this video. Trust me, every product is a plus. Moisturizer, sunscreen and watches. They are so lovely, lovely, lovely. Ma'am, you look beautiful tonight, one of them said sincerely. Sir, you both make a perfect couple. Their compliments made you feel warm inside. Thank you. You replied softly, grateful for their kindness. Jungkook placed a protective hand on your back as he hugged you toward the car. He opened the car door for you, extending his hand to help you in. Careful, he said, his voice laced with tenderness. You smiled at him and stepped inside, settling into the comfortable seat. Jungkook closed the door gently and walked around to driver's side. As he started the engine, you couldn't help but feel a wave of nervousness wash over you. Your hands trembled slightly and Jungkook noticed immediately. Without a word, he reached over and took your hand in his, giving it a reassuring squeeze. One, he began, his tone calm and soothing. There is no need to be nervous. I'm here with you and I'll handle everything. He looked at him, your eyes searching his for reassurance. What if someone says something, Jungkook? What if they scare? He shook his head firmly. Let them stare. No one dares to disrespect you while I'm around. And if they do, they'll regret it. But I promise tonight will go smoothly. You're beautiful wine. And anyone who doesn't see that isn't worth your time. His words calmed your racing heart. Thank you, Jungkook, you said softly, squeezing his hand back. He glanced at you with a smile. Always my love. Now let's focus on having a good time. This party is for you as much as it is for anyone else. You nodded, feeling a bit more confident. The driver continued in comfortable silence, with Jungkook occasionally stealing glances at you to make sure you were okay. His presence was your anchor, and you couldn't help but feel grateful for him. As the car pulled up to the grand venue, Jungkook parked and turned to you. Ready? He asked, his eyes full of encouragement. You took a deep breath and smiled. Ready? He leaned over, pressing a gentle kiss to your forehead. That's my girl, he said, stepping out of the car and walking around to open your door. He extended his hand and you took it, stepping out gracefully. The evening air was cool, and the soft lights of the venue cast a warm glow. With Jungkook by your side, you felt a surge of confidence. Together, you walked toward the entrance, ready to face whatever the night had in store. As you stepped into the grand party hall, the luxurious chandelier cast a warm glow on the room, filled with powerful figures from various industries. The room buzzed with quiet conversations and laughter, but the moment you entered, you could feel the stares. Your left hand instinctively tightened Jungkook's arm. Stay strong, Van, Jungkook said softly, his deep voice grounding you. You are with me. No one can harm you here. You nodded, finding strength in his presence. Together, you moved further into the crowd. His employees and acquaintances greeted him warmly, the respect evident in their tone. Mr. Han, Jungkook greeted his former finance manager with a firm handshake. Ah, Mr. Jungkook and Mrs. Chan. Mr. Han acknowledged you with a polite bow. You managed a nervous smile and returned the greeting. Before the conversation could go any further, a cheerful voice interrupted. Jungkook, Van. He turned to see Jimin approaching, his charming smile lightening up the room. Jungkook's close friend, Jimin was like a brother to you. He greeted Jungkook with a playful hug before turning to you. Van, you look stunning as always, Jimin said, offering you a warm smile. Thank you, Jimin, you replied, feeling at ease in his presence. How have you been? And still searching for a girlfriend, you teased, raising an eyebrow playfully. Jungkook smirked at your comment, adding, searching? More like struggling. You know, he probably scares them away with that smile. Jimin shot Jungkook a glare. I'll have you known, women adore me. He said, feigning indignation, unlike you who got lucky to have one. Jungkook chuckled, pulling you closer. True, I'm lucky, but at least I'm not hopeless like you. The three of you laughed, lightening the atmosphere as the party continued. Jungkook kept you close, his protective nature unwavering even as he mingled with other important guests. You appreciated his presence, but after some time you felt the need to excuse yourself. Jungkook, I'm just going to the washroom, you said softly. He turned to you, concern flashing in his eyes. Do you want me to come with you? You shook your head. I'll be fine, I'll back soon. Reluctantly, he nodded, letting you go. You walked toward the restroom, feeling the weight of a few curious gazes but choosing to ignore them. Inside, you were greeted by a few women who paused their conversation to look at you. Their stares lingered, making you uncomfortable, but you walked past them with your head held high. After finishing in the restroom, you stood at the sink washing your hands. Out of the corner of your eye, you saw two of the women whispering. Her skirt is gorgeous, one of them said, and that jewelry must be worth a fortune, the other added. But then their tone shifted. It's such a shame about her face, the first woman said in a hushed voice. I wonder how she even dares to show up like this, the second muttered. Your heart sank at their words, though their comments were quite the cut deep. You turned to look at them, your gaze steady and firm, causing them to immediately stop and scurry out of the restroom. You sighed, hiding the pain that threatened to surface, and stepped outside. As you walked back toward the party, a voice stopped you in your tracks, a voice you hadn't heard in 6 years, a voice you never wanted to hear again. Hey Van, is that you? He turned around and your breath hissed. Standing there was Sam, your ex-boyfriend, the man who had cheated on you and shattered your trust. He looked you up and down, his gaze lingering on your face. Wow, he said, his tone dripping with mockery. I almost didn't recognize you. What happened to your face? Your hand instinctively moved to cover the scar and you tried to walk past him, but he blocked your path. Where are you going, sweetie? He asked, smirking. Get out of my way, Sam, he said, your voice firm but shaky. Relax, he said, his smirk widening. I just came to talk. I mean, wow, I never thought your face would end up like this. You broke up with me for cheating on you, and now look at you. He chuckled cruelly. Guess I dodged a bullet. My girlfriend is gorgeous and rich. What about you? Anger flared up within you as his words stung. Just shut up and go away, Sam, you said, clenching your fist. Oh, come on, he taunted. I should thank God. If I haven't cheated, then imagine being stuck with you now, such an ugly face. Before he could respond, a deep, commanding voice cut through the tension. You don't need to be pity on her, Sam, because she's already mine. Sam froze, choking on his words as he recognized the voice. Slowly he turned around to face Jungkook, who stood there, his gaze icy and dangerous. Without a word, Jungkook grabbed Sam by the neck and lifted him slightly off the ground. You have a lot of nerve insulting my wife at my party. Making fun of her? Jungkook said, his voice was low and menacing. Sam struggled, his face turning pale as Jungkook tightened his grip. Jungkook let him go, you said softly, placing a hand on his arm. He's not worth it. Jungkook exhaled sharply and released Sam, who collapsed to the ground, gasping for air. Jungkook stepped beside you, wrapping his arm around your shoulders protectively. So you're that idiot, Sam? Jungkook said, his tone dripping with disdain. Thanks for proving you don't deserve her. If she hadn't left you, I wouldn't have had the chance to marry the most incredible women in the world. The room had gone silent, and all eyes were on the scene unfolding. Sam stammered, trying to apologize, but Jungkook cut him off. You dare to insult my wife at my party? Jungkook's voice was sharp, his gaze deadly. You're lucky I'm letting you walk out of here alive. At that moment, a woman approached. Sam's girlfriend Julia. What's going on? She asked, looking confused. Jungkook turned to her. Your boyfriend thought it was a good idea to insult my wife and brag about cheating on her. Did you know he has been with countless women behind your back? Julia's face turned red with anger. Without a word, she slapped Sam across the face. You're disgusting, she spat before storming out of the party. Sam stood there, humiliated and speechless. He couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. The man who once made you feel worthless was now the one crumbling under the weight of his actions. Jungkook leaned down, his lips close to your ear. You are mine, Wan. No one will ever hurt you again. You smiled up at him, your heart swelling with gratitude and love. As the party resumed, Jungkook kept you close, his presence a constant reminder that you were safe, cherished, and deeply loved. The party hall buzzed with murmurs as Jungkook stepped up to the stage, his commanding presence silencing everyone holding the mic. He glanced at you, his eyes softening. The room grew still as the spotlight fell on both of you. Ladies and gentlemen, Jungkook began, his deep voice resonating through the hall. Tonight, I want to introduce someone who means everything to me, the most important person in my life. Your breath hissed. You had begged Jungkook countless times to avoid such public declarations, worried about people's judgments of your scared face. But tonight, his unwearing gaze left no room for argument. He extended his hands towards you. Come here, man. Hesitant to step forward, your heart pounding as hundreds of eyes turned to you. Jungkook gently took your hand and pulled you close, his other hand resting protectively on your waist. This is my wife, Vian, Jungkook announced with pride, his voice filled with unshakable conviction. Gasps rippled through the crowd as whispers spread like wildfire. You tried to avoid their gazes, but Jungkook tilted your chin up. Look at me, he said softly. You're perfect just as you are. He turned back to the audience. Some of you might wonder why I chose to reveal this now. The truth is, Vian always asked me not to. She's been insecure because of a scar she earned while saving my life. A harsh silence filled the room as Jungkook recounted the story. I have loved Vian from the moment I met her. But back then she didn't trust me, didn't trust anyone because she was healing from betrayal. I wanted her to see how much I cared, so I stood by her no matter. When I had the chance to protect her from an accident, I got a minor injury, nothing serious, but that's when she started trusting me. He smiled looking at you warmly. But it was until I was shot and taken to her hospital that I realized how much she cared for me. You felt tears welling up as memories came flooding back. Jungkook continued, his voice steady. She stayed by my side even when fight broke out in the hospital due to a faulty air conditioner. She risked her life to save me, and in the process, she got this scar. I have always regretted being the reason she got hurt, but that scar isn't a flaw. It's a mark of her bravery and love. One, he saved me not just that day, but every day since. He taught me what true love looks like. The room was silent, and you could see tears in some of the guests' eyes. Jungkook stepped closer, his hand tightening around yours. One, you once told me I deserve better because of this scar. But I don't want better, I want you. You have given me your heart, your trust and your love. There is nothing more beautiful than that. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. Kneeling before you, he opened it to reveal a stunning diamond ring. Gas filled the room again. Wine, Jungkook said, his voice breaking slightly. I have loved you for everything you are and everything you stand for. Will you marry me again? Not as a scarred woman hiding her worth, but as a strong, beautiful fighter. I know you are. Tears streamed down your cheeks as you nodded, unable to speak. Yes, you whispered 1,000 times yes. Tears erupted around the hall as Jungkook slid the ring onto your finger. He stood pulling you into a tight embrace. I will protect you forever, he murmured into your ear. No one will ever hurt you again. The media cameras flashed wildly, capturing the heartfelt moment. Jungkook turned to the crowd, his expression hardening. Let this be a message to everyone. If anyone dares to insult or harm my life, they will face me and trust me. You don't want that. The crowd nodded in unison, their fear evident. Jungkook turned back to you, his smile softly. Let's go home, love. At home, the atmosphere was calmer, intimate. You sat together on the couch in the living room, the tension of the room fading away. Jungkook placed a soft blanket over your shoulder and held your hand. When he began, his voice full of regret. I'm so sorry you had to face your ex and those cruel words tonight. It shouldn't have happened. Shook your head, squeezing his hand. No, Jungkook, it's not your fault. In fact, tonight made me realize something. He tilted his hand, his brows furrowing. What's that? I always seen my worth, even when I couldn't. You have never been ashamed of me, so why should I feel ashamed of myself? You said, your voice steady. Jungkook's eyes softened as he pulled you closer. That's my girl, he said, kissing your forehead. You are strong, man. You have been through so much, and yet you stand tall. That's what makes you incredible. You rested your head on his shoulder, a peaceful smile playing on your lips. I'm so grateful to have you, Jungkook. You have taught me to love myself again. I don't know how I got so lucky. He chuckled, wrapping his arm around you. I'm the lucky one, Vibe. Every day with you is a blessing. You're my strength, my anchor, my everything. Thank you for watching.